So, I thought I'd check out the Sega SG-1000, the rival to the Famicom, which didn't really take off in Japan. Not in the same way as the Famicom obviously did. Now, back then, as a kid, when this came out, well, not this game, the Sega SG-1000 specifically, it was all about the space games and the driving games, really. I don't know what driving games are on the SG-1000, apart from Monaco GP, which is a Sega arcade game, not Super Monaco. Don't expect miracles, mate. But there's also something called Zoom 909, which is pretty much Buck Rogers, the arcade version. Now, I did play Zaxxon on the MSX and accidentally long play it before anyone else and stick it up on YouTube. Ah, those were the glory days of my channel, eh? And Zaxxon is a game I would have liked on the ColecoVision, but going by ColecoVision wasn't released in Japan in no official capacity. In television there are adverts for Japanese in television, and they're like 50,000 yen. Can't remember the exact conversion rate now actually. I think it was roughly 240 yen to the dollar. So you'll have to go and work that out. But it fascinated me when I was looking at things. How did the Famicom become so dominant, and would I have been happy with a Sega SG-1000? Obviously if I was born in Japan. I don't think they were really, the Famicom certainly wasn't released outside of Japan, and the NES didn't arrive until much later, until the 16-bit era. So. But let's check out Zaxxon, because I would have wanted Zaxxon if I did have one of these. Obviously I wouldn't have been smoking as a little kid, despite being from London. Ooh. This joypad is killing me, man, for fuck's sake. So, like the ColecoVision, the scrolling is character based. I don't know if the graphics are actually nicer than the ColecoVision version. You know that? I've been working on this fucking house for years, so even though I have all this stuff, you know, Popeye and Zaxxon for the ColecoVision, Turbo Expansion, Donkey Kong Jr., all that kind of stuff. All the stuff I had back then. So you can actually destroy the missiles. Yeah, scrolling is disappointing, but yeah, the scrolling is not nice. The rest of it is nice actually. What happened to the space battle? Oh, that's how you tell if they're on the same level. It beeps, doesn't it? Very Buck Rogers. You will eventually get there. they've added music instead of the iconic background noises of the arcade. So I did like Zax and the arcade machine. I thought it was a fantastic arcade game. I think that's pretty much single-handedly responsible for my liking of isometric graphics. I was like, wow, these are great. Which is possibly why I'm biased towards Jumping Jack by Livewire Software on their C64. Yeah, the only negative point I've got is really the scrolling is rubbish. Now the Famicom did have hardware scrolling. Ooh, this joypad's killing me, man. It's definitely a fun game, and this was in 1983, which it isn't, it says 1985 there. Then that would have helped a lot, I reckon, their sales. But you have to remember, Donkey Kong is and Popeye are two of the best Nintendo arcade games ever. And you know, having something compete with that. Now I did like Congo Bongo in the arcade as much as Donkey Kong, so that would be interesting. But that's an isometric game, so I don't know what they would have done with Congo Bongo if it had even been released. So we'll have to check that now. But luckily it's so easy to emulate this stuff now. SG-1000, the Sega Mark III, all the precursors to the Master System. I believe the Master System Mark 1, the card slot is actually so you can play these older games from the older Sega consoles. So really, Sega were the pioneers of backwards compatibility. Not that it helped them in their fight against the Famicom, I suppose. So you just have to make sure your shots go through and then you know you're at the right height. My shots were going through. Well, that's the idea anyway. Right, let's see if Congo Bongo existed. Look, it says SG-1000 there. No, see, Congo Bongo doesn't exist. Donkey Kong and Popeye wouldn't have been allowed. The only other Sega arcade game from the time really was Turbo, which is not on here, and Buck Rogers, aka Zoom 909. Okie dokie. You know what, I can't remember what the bloody ColecoVision of Buck Rogers looks like either. I can't remember if I even own it. And if I do, is it a loose copy with like, you know, torn labels and shit? I stopped buying Coleco stuff over a decade ago because I've got everything I needed. Well, apart from the expansion module 1, which was the Atari VCS adapter. They're really expensive now, but I never bought one back then, you know, in a mint box condition for like 40-50 quid. Simply because I already had a VCS. Sadly, I sold that VCS in the mint box. Oh, you know, mortgage has to be paid, mate. Yeah. Was that fuel or something? Yeah, it was fuel. So this is more like Buck Rogers on the MSX, C64, etc. Or Tachyon Fighter on the Memotech MTX. Now, where would you get such a wide range of systems covered there, mate? Only by me. Oh, crap. How's that crash? Again, you know, summer of 1983, if I didn't have a C64 and I got this instead of a VIC-20, I think I would have been happy actually. God damn it, you don't get enough time to get the fuel. You have to stay in the middle really. Let's see what other SG-1000 games are. Apart from Monaco GP, which I've already done. I was curious to see that actually. Yeah, I don't like baseball games. Well, some of the games are quite small, 16K. That's Commodore Max machine sort of thing. So the Commodore Max machine is a direct rival for this really. Just like you can compare the MSX and the C64 in you know, Europe or America. I don't actually like Choplifter. Ooh, soccer. You know what, we have to play a soccer game. Because I loved international soccer on the C64 and I had that pretty much from the start. You know, it's chunky as hell, but it is a nice sideways kind of thing. This goes for the kick-off sort of viewpoint. Right, okay. Still getting used to the buttons, calm down. I'm not even sure when I'm fucking hitting the ball, you know that. I'm not sure that button A or B or 1 or 2 is actually for kicking. Okay, I had to press B there. Well, he pushed that off. This is rubbish compared to international soccer. I've played international soccer and reviewed it. Nah, this is less fun. Right, I think we've seen enough of that. Wish I played bloody Choplifter now. Even a rubbish C64 port of it. GP World, could that be Grand Prix World? Yee! I think this is on the MSX as well actually. So it's no pole position on the C64, which is, again is chunky as fuck, but absolutely plays fine. I don't know if I've even uploaded that review yet. In fact, I played pole position twice. I'd forgotten that I'd already reviewed it. So the reviews are pretty much the same. So. Oh right, so you do have another gear. So we've got the same problem as that one. Now I don't know how many buttons were on the joysticks for the SG-1000, or the joypads I should say. So actually the cars are quite nice, the other cars. Your car looks a bit shit at the bottom there. It's a bit Atari Night Driver there in MSX viewpoint, I suppose. It's too difficult to overtake. So pole position is better. This is certainly not as chunky as pole position. Bomb jack, that could be interesting, because again the C64 version is not exactly well known for pushing the limits even for the year it was released on the C64. So some of these games you should really compare with an Amstrad. 3D Grand Prix Driver, Bomb Jack on the Amstrad. It certainly doesn't look as nice as Bomb Jack on the Amstrad. However, it might play smoother. Movement is fluid. Slightly rigid. You can't hide under the fucking thing. That's a joke, that is. I don't really care for the bonuses in this thing. How do I fucking get? I have to get over them again. Right, okay, so we've got a chance of doing it here. Oh no, it's such a pain in the ass. Oh no! Damn it, I don't like the way it plays. It plays worse than the C64 version. It just looks different. It looks shit in a different way. I won't be able to get up there now, will I? It doesn't go all the way up to the top, unless you have to press both buttons. Crap. No, it's too difficult to get up to the top. No, I don't like that. Again, probably the C64 version plays better. I hate to admit that's such a shit conversion. But you have to go with what was released. If it was a shit version, you could play Bombo by Rhinosoft. On the C64, that's a Bomb Jack clone. So actually I've played Hang On for the Master System. One of my mates used to have one of those after a C64 actually. He went from or around the same time. I'm not sure how it works actually, I can't remember. So again, this is no super cycle graphically. Oh, you have got 3 gears. Yeah, okay. Nah, graphically it's not really quite in the same class as super cycle. Yeah, I don't really like it. You don't seem to have a brake button. Oh, I suppose you have one maybe. Nah, this is sort of like racing games on the BBC Micro sort of quality, graphically and game engine wise, as far as controller input and response time. It's not great. Moving on. I did have elevator action on my C64, I think. I definitely had Gumshoe because I had the Soft Aid compilation. But I think I bought elevator action. I'm not 100% sure on that one though. The thing is, I can't play Hero on the C64 at the moment. I'm not going to try it on that. Just in case, don't want to ruin any memories. Oh look, Pitfall 2. I don't actually like Pitfall though as a game. It's not my kind of game. So we could go for Sega Galaga. The problem there is I don't actually like Galaga, but then I don't like Wonder Boy either. Star Force is a conversion of the arcade game Star Force, I'm sure it is. Which is sort of a bit like Warhawk on the C64, which I can't play again. Don't want to wipe out those memories. But there wasn't really a Galaga game on the C64, so this would be interesting. Not that I would have bought it. But let's see what it's like. It's very smooth. Sounds good. Plays fine. It's really nice actually for what it is. Now obviously all the enemies are a single colour. I don't think the Texas Instruments graphics chip has. Yeah, thank fuck for the built-in pause button there on the controller. So yeah, our battery light's flashing anyway, so no, it's a very good version. And the Galaxians are actually a bit too close to you. Play smoother than Zalaga on the C64. But then that is a BBC Micro port job. So Orlando M. Fish, I think it was called. Yeah, so I don't think there's any more SG-1000 games. So really, so that's really all the SG-1000 games I'm gonna really try. But it's interesting to see what what the option was back then. That's really what the Japanese had to choose. Famicom, SG-1000, or stick with their, worse than the Atari VCS, technically Epoch cassette vision. I don't think Japanese culture really promotes the purchasing of Western goods over homegrown things. Bit like 60s and 70s Britain. They'd buy their own rubbish British cars instead of like, I don't know, a little Nissan or something. It's just pure patriotism. So, be interested to see what the Famicom 1983 and 1984 lineup is. hopefully we can find a decent emulator for that.